Good morning, afternoon, or evening, everyone. My name is Jeremy Walsh, and I'm the Director of Support, Training, and Documentation for BNI Connect. I'd like to welcome everybody to the webinar today. Today's webinar is the last webinar that we have for BNI Connect for January. Good thing, because there's only a couple of days left in the month. Today's webinar is on the online renewal process. And what we're going to be talking about today is how BNI Connect can, if your region has enabled it, can process online renewals, which means no more chasing down the piece of paper renewal and getting the payment and all of that kind of stuff. All that can happen directly through BNI Connect for those regions that have enabled it. So what we're going to talk about is there's two parts of this process: the process that the member goes through, how a member can go in and what it looks like for them and how they enter a renewal online through BNI Connect. And then we're going to look at the approval process from a leadership team standpoint and a membership committee. So before we get started, we have a couple of housekeeping things. This is a live webinar, so that means if you have any questions, please do feel free to ask those questions as we're going through the process. We have, I believe, Kat has already said good morning. It's their first webinar, so thank you so much for being here. I see questions and comments and suggestions, all things like that, pop up on my screen right away, so please do feel free to ask those questions or make comments as we're going through. Just type them into the questions panel. The second thing is that we are going to record this webinar. We're actually recording it right now. After the recording is finished, I have to convert them to a special format and get them up to YouTube, and we'll be sharing them on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. Again, youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. You'll find all of our recorded content up there. You can also find it on our support site, support.bniconnect.com, or by clicking the question mark in the upper right-hand corner of BNI Connect. I'll show you guys both those things a little bit later. So let's take a look at this online renewal process. What does it look like to members? What does it look like to leadership teams? So here's a very, very quick kind of flow chart for the online renewals. And there's three parts of this process. The member completes the renewal application. So that is all done by the member itself. So hold on, before we go any further, Alpha has raised a comment, says, has it started? I can't hear anything. Everybody else on the call today, are you guys able to hear okay? I just want to make sure that there's nothing wrong with the audio, and it might just be... Okay, so Kat, Karen, Steve, Cheryl, everybody says that they can hear okay. Alpha, I'm going to type a message to Alpha real quick. The sound is okay for all the other participants. You may need to reconnect. All right, so sorry about that, guys. Just try to help out Alpha, see if they can get back connected to us. So, and thanks for letting me know that the sound is working. So, all right, cool. Alpha can hear us. So, excellent, excellent news. So, let's move along here. So we have three parts of the process. We have the member completing the application, and that is done now by the member themselves. There's an online application. Now, something that is very important about that is that you have to be able to log into BNI Connect. So for anybody trying to submit a renewal application, if you don't have your username and password, you do have to get that done first. So the second part of the process is that the renewal is reviewed and approved. So this is something that we've always done. We've always had to approve the renewals that are coming through the office. However, it was always just kind of the membership committee. They got together, they verbally approved it, and they told the secretary treasurer and the president that they approved it. But there was really no like marking or anything like that. Now with the online renewals, the approval has to be recorded in BNI Connect. Now, it's not a voting process, but it is the vice president usually going in and recording the result. And then the final part of this process, again, always happened this way, is that the regional office does need to reconcile, just as they always had, and basically said, yes, we have received the payment for this. So let's take a look at each part of this process. The first is the renewal process for members. Okay, so there are a number of different ways a member can get started with their renewal. They can do this with a Renew Now link that's in the reminder email. So there's an automated reminder email that goes out to all members 60 days before their renewal. So 60 days before their renewal, they will get a reminder. So basically on February 1st or so, the people that are due in April will be getting a reminder to renew their membership. If your region has enabled the online renewals, there will be a link in that email that says, please click here to renew now. The second way is that there is a link on a lot of the regional websites. So for example, I'm a member here in Rhode Island, so on bniri.com, I can click a link and start the renewal process. The third way is that there is a Renew Now link on the home screen in BNI Connect, and I'll show you guys that in just a second as well. The fourth way is that they click on the Renew button on the main profile tab of their membership record. And actually, there is a fifth way that if you are pre-approved for a membership, you will get a notification saying you've just been approved. Would you like to renew now? Click here to get started. So the first way is with that renewal reminder email. So this is just a sample renewal reminder. I'm actually due in March, so I got this reminder just about 3 weeks ago. But you can see here that the Renew Now link is right there. And it's also down there at the bottom. So you just have to click that link and it will start the renewal process. These are just a couple of examples of shortcuts that exist on regional websites. So for example, BNI Minnesota, BNIMN.com has a blue Renew Now button. Heartland, they have a red Renew Now button, and Arizona has a squared off red Renew Now button. They're all bring you to the same place. It's just a shortcut into BNI Connect to start that renewal. So let's take a look at what this looks like to a member. So I'm going to go ahead and log into BNI Connect. So go to bniconnect.com. And one of my members is Marky Mark from the Funky Bunch. So Marky Mark is a member of mine up in the BNI chapter of Antarctica. So he is up for renewal. Let's log in as Marky Mark and renew ourselves. All right, so Marky Mark has logged in, and I can basically click this Renew Now button right here on the home page in BNI Connect. If I happen to be in my profile, updating my profile, there is also a link here, a button that says Renew Now down here at the bottom. I can click this Renew button. Both of those things will take me to the same place, as will clicking the Renew button on the website or the link in the email. So when I click Renew, this takes me to the renewal application. This application is for Antarctica, so the ones in the United States may look a little bit different. The ones in Canada may look a little bit different. The United Kingdom, Scotland, the questions and the terms of agreement may be slightly different to cater for the legalities of that region, as well as the price structures in Antarctica. The membership is only $250 a year, so very, very affordable. The option is to choose a 1-year renewal or a 2-year renewal, and the price will change accordingly. So 1 year or 2 year, choose that first. If you happen to be late, so if let's say Marky Mark was due on February 1st, I still have a couple of days, I have 30 days to fulfill the renewal, but I will be charged a late fee if I have gone into late status. So from February 2nd through the end of the month, I will be in late status and will automatically assess a late fee. I then just need to answer the questions. Yes, I understand this is just a test membership. Has my certification been revoked? No. Am I willing to make the commitment? Yes. Have I joined any other networking organizations? No. Am I prepared to invite people? Yes. Do I belong to any other referral groups? No. Convicted of dishonesty? No. And which positions would I like to be considered for? I can then, if I need to, there is the opportunity to check and update my details. So if for some reason any of these are wrong, for example, my company name is Funky Bunch LLC, I can make those adjustments. Now, any of these adjustments that have a pound sign next to them, the red pound sign, if I change any of these, it will absolutely red flag this to make sure that the membership committee knows that information has been changed on the person's record. If this person happened to be pre-approved for a renewal, it will unpre-approve them because they do need to approve it with all the current information. Once I've gone through that, I can then read and understand the general policies and agree to the code of ethics and then proceed to payment. At this point, the application is now submitted. So it is locked in. And a couple of emails just went out as well with a copy of the application and an announcement that it has been successfully submitted. At this point, I need to choose how I'm going to pay for my membership. Depending on what payment methods your region has set up, most regions do have a credit card option. In Antarctica, we are only accepting checks. So I can choose that payment type. If it's required, you can also put a proof of payment like a photocopy of the check, or if you were paying through a shopping cart somewhere else or PayPal, maybe an electronic receipt to go along with that. But at this time, I'm going to leave it at that and click Submit. It now lets me know that everything is complete and we will be contacted once we have been approved. You'll notice that the Renew Now button goes away while I have an application pending. Once that's been approved, once it's all set, that button will come back again. And that's all there is to it from a member perspective. If anybody else has ever filled out anything online, has anybody bought anything online, that's about all there is to it. So let's take a quick review of that. All right, so the process is the member completes the renewal application and choose an online payment type, and then there are some notifications that get sent out as part of the process. And by the way, because I'm personally on the membership committee of the Antarctica chapter, I did get a warning letting me know that, by the way, Mark did change some details. He changed his company name from Funky Bunch to Funky Bunch LLC. All right. Excellent. So the next part of this process is really for leadership teams. So we've just done the member. Now we're going to switch hats here and switch roles for a minute. And from a leadership team, what are the steps that need to happen? Some important things about the process for leadership teams. Each online renewal must be approved in BNI Connect before it can proceed to the next step. So without the approval, then the regional office can't finish the process. So they must be approved. They can be full, conditional, or denied. Just a regular approval, that's a full approval. Conditional approval means that maybe the person's on probation or there were some terms to the approval, but you're still allowing them to renew. Denied means that you said no, so we do record that as well. Depending on your region and your setup, there's two different types of approvals. There's pre-approvals and post-approvals, and that is whether you're approving them before the member has submitted an application or you're approving them after the member has submitted an application. Some regions allow both. They can be pre-approved or post-approved. Some regions only allow post-approvals, for example. So check with your regional office, with your training director or your executive director to find out how it is being processed in your region. And as I mentioned before, especially for you executive directors with us today and regional administrators, applications cannot be reconciled until the approval has taken place. All right, so the pre-approval process, there are two different ways to proceed with the pre-approval, which is before the renewal app is submitted. The first way is that when the membership committee gets a reminder email, which happens 90 days before the membership is due, they'll get a renewal reminder, and it will list all of the people in the chapter that are due for renewal in 90 days. Along with that, there'll be a link that says click here to pre-approve this person. They can click on that. They can review the membership and choose whether or not to pre-approve them. The second way is through the membership dues report. So the membership dues report, for those people that are allowed to pre-approve, there'll be an icon that allows you to pre-approve. Post-approvals, again, once the application has been submitted, you can click on the renewal link in the application received email that goes out. You get an announcement saying, congratulations, one of the members of your chapter, John Smith, or Marky Mark in this case, has renewed their membership. Would you like to go ahead and approve that now? Please click here, and that will bring you to the approval screen. Or if you neglected that email, you lost it, you deleted it, or it got chewed up by spam, then there is also the opportunity to go to the View Pending Applications screen and process the renewal that way. So let's take a look at this process. I'm going to switch back over to the live BNI Connect here. Let me log out as Marky Mark, and I'm going to log in as my Vice President. So my Vice President is Alfred E. Newman. And let's get logged in. So Alfred E. Newman here, he is going to now go and let's see if there's any members that we need to pre-approve. And we do that through the membership dues report. So let's take a look. We got to go to reports here, and we're going to go to the chapter level reports. And the third report down is the membership dues report. And what you'll see here is that there is a column called Member Renewal. And this will show all of the people up for renewal. And the people that are due for renewal in the next couple of months will be highlighted in boldface here. So the next three, we have Robert Lovejoy, email check member, and Ricky Martin. All three of those people are up for renewal. If I'd like to, let's say Ricky Martin, I'm going to go ahead and let's do a pre-approval for Ricky. So if I click the little red head for Ricky, I can take a look at his membership. So it'll confirm that he's in the Burr chapter and what his renewal date is. It'll then let me review Ricky's performance over the last 6 months. And I can see here that Ricky has been only present 6 times in the last 6 months, and he's had 2 one-to-ones. Not a whole lot of referrals, not a whole lot of thank you for closed business. Let me take a closer look. I'm going to look at his training details. If I click the training details, it will bring me over to his profile where I can take a look through. Oh, and it doesn't look like he has any training records either. But I can take a look through the rest of the profile, see if he's participating in BNI Connect. And he doesn't really have too much of his profile filled out here. Doesn't look like he has any testimonials. So now we have to make the decision whether or not we want to approve him. And the pre-approval, the first thing that we have to do is we have to certify that all necessary membership performance reviews and discussions have taken place. So we are confirming that we are following the process here. And then we can do 2 things. We can choose whether or not it is a conditional approval. So have we put Ricky Martin here on probation? Did we speak with him and say, hey, Ricky, we're going to approve you, but you have to do 15 one-to-ones in the next 3 months? Or is it just a regular approval? Now, the conditional approvals, that is open to the discretion of your leadership team and your region. So it's nothing that we have here that is a checklist of things that have to be done. It's not enforced in any way. It is just a record-keeping checkbox that says, yes, we decided to make this conditional. And the same thing with control letters, especially in the case of somebody being denied or declined. You have to certify that those control letters have gone out. Once I've made those decisions, I can click pre-approve. And now what will happen is Ricky Martin will get an email saying, hey, Ricky, congratulations, your membership committee just pre-approved your membership. They want you back in the chapter. Can you please go ahead and start the renewal process now? It's now going to refresh the screen, and there is nothing left for me to do here. By the way, the membership committee. When they go in, this is all they will see. They'll just see the member performance and the ability to go to the member's profile, which will allow them to review Ricky's details. They would then just report back to the vice president, and the vice president is the only one that registers the decision. Okay, it is not a voting process, just a registering the decision process. All right, so that's it. That's the pre-approval process. So we've gone ahead and pre-approved Ricky. Let's go see what else we can do. Now, the other thing we need to do is check to see if there's any applications pending. And in the case of Marky Mark, we need to go ahead and post-approve Marky's membership. So we do that by going to operations. So the pending applications is in operations. From operations, we're going to go to manage memberships and then view pending applications. And here we can see that Marky Mark has submitted his application. We can see that it is a renewal. If I click the word renewal, it will bring me over to the application. I can see the status is submitted, and I still have the option to approve it. So once I click the approve button here, this screen looks remarkably like the other one in the pre-approval process. There's a couple of minor differences. The first of which is that the actual application is attached up here. So I can click this PDF icon, and I can choose to open, or I can, if I'm, let's say, the vice president, and I want to save a copy of this to the chapter box or something like that, I could do that as well. By the way, here's the application. It just opened up in a different screen here, and it shows all the results of what Marky Mark entered in. And again, I can save that file or print it out for safekeeping if I would like to. It does give me the notice that the renewal application was submitted with changes, so I have a nice big warning here. And finally, the opportunity to approve or decline it. Again, I can't do anything until I have checked the box saying that I've had the meetings. And once again, I can check whether or not its approval is conditional or a control letter is sent. At this point, I can approve or decline. So a couple of notes, if I do decline somebody, it does not kick them out of the chapter. If a member, especially if they're renewing 1 or 2 or 3 months ahead of time, they still have the time left on their membership owed to them. So they have the ability to continue that out unless they're being removed by one of the control letters like absences or something like that. That also needs to happen by the membership committee process. BNI Connect will not, I repeat, it will not notify a member about the decline. That has to be done through the control letters and through a meeting with the membership committee. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and approve Marky Mark. So from a membership committee standpoint, again, that's really all there is to it. So membership committee goes in and they need to review. They still need to absolutely 100% have their membership committee meetings. They need to sit down. They need to talk about the members that are renewing or the members that they're pre-approving. Then the vice president goes in, and the vice president goes and records the membership committee's decision. And then after that, the next step will be that the region, once the application has been input, once the payment has been made or the check sent in, and the approval has taken place, then the regional office can finalize that transaction by reconciling it. In the case of a decline, and there are concerns about it, that can be overturned if necessary. All right, so I've mentioned a couple of times that there are a bunch of emails that go out during this process. There's quite a few of them, actually, that go out to a number of different people. The first is prior to the renewal, there's some emails that go out. As I mentioned, there's a couple of renewal reminder notifications, one to the membership committee and one to the member themselves at 90 and 60 days, respectively. And the member opt-out one, In the renewal reminder for the member, there is the link that says, hey, please renew now. Please click here. It'll bring them over to the renewal page. The member also does have an option in there that says, I choose not to renew at this time. Similar to a decline, it will send out an email notification to the regional office, the director, and the leadership team saying, hey, by the way, this person decided they didn't want to renew. It does not, I repeat, it does not drop them. The member can still, still has the remaining time in their membership. If a member is pre-approved, there is an email that goes out with that as well. During the online renewal, there's the submission email where they get a copy of their renewal application with the online and offline payments and with the member details changes. There's also the renewal approved after the online renewal, a payment requested if they have not yet paid but they just got approved. And when somebody has been approved, there's an announcement, and when somebody has been declined, there's an announcement email as well. And this is the same information, it is just in a different format. So if you happen to be a vice president, that is the emails that you will get, or if you happen to be a director consultant, you want to know which emails will be coming to you, you can see those here as well. All right, so we're pretty much at the bottom of the hour. What I'd like to do is to open this up to questions. So if you have any questions at all, unfortunately I don't have the ability to open up any microphones. If you have a question, please do type your question in to the questions panel, and I will be happy to read off your question and answer it. While you're thinking of any questions, just a couple of other resources that are available. You'll be able to find this recording, hopefully shortly, within a day or two, up on our YouTube channel as well as on that support site. I'd love it if you gave us a like on Facebook, or if you want to follow us on Twitter. And if you need to ask any questions once this webinar is completed, or if you're at home listening on a recording, you can always send us an email, support@bniconnect.com, where I'll be happy to help in any way that we can. Kat just has a comment. Kat says, great information, thanks. And you are very, very welcome, Kat. Thank you so much for being here today. All right, does anybody else have any questions at all? Marie says, member was a VP last year and has next year with no fee. Is this the same for their renewal? Yes, so I mean, whenever somebody goes to renew, whether they're due now, whether they're due next year, I mean, it's still the same process. When you are serving in a leadership team position, the president, vice president, and secretary treasurer, your dues are compensated during that time of service. So it's not that you get a free year after you stop serving, it's the time that you are serving, your dues are suspended. So if I happen to be due, I have maybe 4 months left in my membership and I step in as the president, however long I'm president, whether it's for 1 month, 6 months, or 12 months, when I stop being president, I will still have 4 months and the clock will start ticking again. And then at that time, I would have to, after that 4 months, I would have to process my renewal. Does that make sense, Marie? But while they're serving in office, they usually do not have to perform a renewal. All right, any other questions? All right, and a good referral for me, by the way, is to please let people know about these webinars. We will be starting up this entire series of webinars all over again in February. So we're going to start in the second, well, I think it's actually the third week in February. Monday, February 15th, we will start our member series of webinars, starting with how to complete your profile. Then on Tuesday, we're going to do giving and tracking referrals. On Wednesday, the 17th, we're going to talk about connecting with other members. Then on the 18th, we're going to do the member tools and reports. And finally, to close out the week on Friday, we're going to be doing inviting and registering visitors. And then the following week, we're going to do the whole leadership team, including this one as well. Kat says, does this count toward education? Absolutely. log into BNI Connect and submit a 1 CEU credit slip for today's webinar. Please absolutely give yourself a CEU credit for participating today. Thank you so much. All right, any other questions? Any other questions? Going once, going twice. All right. Once again, thank you guys for spending some time with me this afternoon, and I look forward to seeing you on a future webinar. Happy connecting.